Welcome back in, everybody, and look who's with me. It's Harry. Woo! Yay! Harry, how are you doing? It's been a while since we've got to co-cast together. So how have you been? How are you doing? And how are you looking forward to the series coming up as well?
Oh, I've been doing great. I'm pretty excited about Eastern Europe because the Division 2 seems pretty interesting now. So I'm doing good. You know, when there's good Dota to watch, and in this year, these 6 months ever since the start, there has constantly been good Dota to watch. There's not really much to complain about.
No, yeah, Division 2 has been really good. I think this is the closest Division 2 we've had since the start of this season. I'm looking through, maybe Navi pull ahead. Like looking at the standings, I think they might be the strongest team in the division. But looking through the rest of them, like Cybercats, Matrasha, StoRm, Team Sexy, C-Base seem to be falling down here 0-3 at the very end. Even Navi Junior looking really strong. I don't know if you caught any of it, but the Navi versus Navi Junior series, it went 2-1. In fact, there are only 2-1 so far.
Yep.
And they were, Navi Junior were able to push it through to a full 3 games, and they looked like they were going to win it. And a couple of team fights towards the end, Navi Senior were able to swing it back in their favor, but they do look really, really good. They impressed me today up against Sibe as well. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing how this league's going to evolve with the teams that are involved.
It's one of those situations, you know, when you have a younger brother and you're playing like FIFA or something on the on a console, and you can beat him. Then he gets close, but you still beat him. And then when it really gets close, then you really put the foot on the gas. I'm guessing that's what happened there in the series. Though Navi Junior, even though they're young, these guys have been playing good Dota for quite some time. So I'm not surprised that they really put up such a great fight.
Yeah, no, they did look great. And again today as well, they impressed. In the first game, Sibe were ahead, or they were starting to climb ahead before an unfortunate disconnect, but Nesphere wasn't going for too long. And they were able to take fights. And in fact, there was a point where Sibe looked like they were going to fight back, get themselves back into it. But game number 2, Navi Junior just looked so in control of that game. So looking forward to seeing how they evolve. And again, coming through into this series, because I think we will be able to get ourselves into the draft. It is going to be StoRm versus Moneymakers. And StoRm, another one. Like, I'm looking through StoRm. I thought it was going to be Team Sexy, but Team Sexy actually taken a loss a little bit earlier on to Matrashka. Matrashka looked really good in that series, and I thought they'd be one of the lower teams. But yeah, Navi, Cybercats, Matrashka, StoRm, I think are all going to be around upper table now. I think, again, I think this is one of the closest tours we've had. So I really can't predict how it's going to go. I think I'm confident in saying Navi is going to be up near the top, if not at the top. But for the rest of them, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this lays out. And again, coming through into the series, StoRm versus Moneymakers, to see if there's going to be any more separation coming in. And the bans, because we should actually talk about the draft so far. So the Bloodseeker, the Beastmaster being taken out, the Doom and the Pugner. Batrider gets through, Magnus gets through. We're going to see the Techies being, well, there it is. Techies comes right through. And, there is a set Spirit Breaker come through as well, a set amount of heroes, Bloodseeker, Timbersaw, that do look strong. Obviously, the Bloodseeker being banned there. But, how have you found the drafts in other regions? Are they similar to what's coming out in Eastern Europe? Because I know you've been on the Southeastern Asian scene a little bit.
Yeah, pretty similar. The thing about the 733 meta is that you have this bunch of heroes that feel slightly stronger than the other ones, and they are the ones that are being shuffled through the first phase of bans, second phase of bans, and the first phase of picks, mostly. In the later portions of the draft, maybe we can expect something different from region to region, but I think the openings are always going to be similar. Maybe not the same. Timbersaw might not be something that every region wants to pick up in the first phase, but it's definitely something that's considered ban worthy in the first and the second ban phase. So I'm looking at the picks right now, and really not much changes from the other regions I've been watching, I've been casting. So this is about it. But when it comes to the two teams, Moneymakers, I mean, these guys, I have to say they have been disappointing in the past 2 months, because before that they were looking really strong and they were reaching up their stride. Now they're just not looking as good, whereas StoRm, Seneko, out of the previous Division 1, where they really dropped the ball. Now he has a new team and he's ready to crush it. So I always have faith in this guy, especially if he is surrounded by, I'd say, younger players or players that are going to show him respect, because if he's not clashing with any personalities in a team, he actually has really good ideas that can usually work.
Yeah, and if you look at the full lineup from Storm, 1J and Emptiness seem to be newer pickups. Nikki Cool and Krilliat have been around for a little bit longer. But they all do seem to be impressing. Like I say, they are making good runs in other events as well here. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play in the DPC. And yeah, no, like you say, so Seneko has kind of that shot calling role, that captain's role coming into this one. It does seem to be paying off. Back to the draft itself, we see the Chenban coming out. Of course, we're going to see the Chenban coming out up against Seneko. But with the Morphling going, the Sansa going here now as well. So Moneymakers feel comfortable to pick out the Queen of Pain. Keeper of the Light comes out for Storm. So I don't know about yourself, but I've been seeing a lot of support Batriders and a couple of mid Keeper of the Lights. Do you think that's how we're going to see this one? Or do you think it's going to be like the mid lane bat into the support Keeper here with maybe on the Timbersaw lane?
The mid lane bat, I would scratch off the table just because of the queen.
Yeah.
I think it would be foolish to go for that route, especially with the support bat just being very, very powerful nowadays. I personally have not seen many mid coddles, but judging from the current situation, that's probably going to be something that we're seeing. I have seen off lane bat riders though, so a tanky hero like a Timbersaw in the mid lane, it can take the harassment from the Queen of Pain. Could be something that you can put in the mid lane, and then an off lane bat could work. But in my opinion, this is offlane Timber, position 4 bat, Keeper Light in the mid lane, or maybe a position 4 Enchantress and a 5 bat, because if I would have to choose being a Timbersaw who I want to lane with, I'd rather go with the Enchantress. She can leave. The Bat Rider kind of wants to stay and take some of your experience away, and as a Timbersaw, you don't really like that all too much.
No, I have seen a couple of mid Timbersaws as well. With the off-lane Enchantresses, Moneymakers go back for the Wind Ranger. How do you feel about this hero? Because it's been coming out in pro games, but it's not really been too effective. I'm seeing at high-level pubs, it's having an impact, but actually coming into the pro scene, the Wind Ranger, it still feels quite... I don't want to call it weak, because the Universal heroes on their own feel quite strong, but it just seems like it's not a great position 1 at the minute.
I think that people have found ways to punish the hero. That a lot of purged heroes are being picked up, the Oracle, the Shadow Demon. So that makes the Wind Ranger a little bit tougher to work out. So obviously in pubs, there's not going to be that many counters, and you're just going to be able to crush everybody with it.
Yeah.
But I do think that the hero is super strong. Just as there are heroes that are good versus her, there's probably something inside of the meta that could make her work even more. And the pros are recognizing it. They might not have just found every single scenario where to pick it, and somebody is just force picking. I don't know what to play. Oh, I won my last 7 pubs with a Wind Ranger. Pick a Wind Ranger for me, and then it drops the ball. So I think that's probably the main issue with the Wind Ranger, that everybody feels that she's strong, but maybe not everybody has found a way to utilize it inside of a draft in a perfect way. Once that happens, I think the hero will have its place as a very well established hero in the meta.
Okay, and I mean, I'm looking forward to it again. Wind Ranger, one of my favorite heroes. Actually, the very first hero I played when I came over to Dota 2. So, always want to see it in the meta, and it has been out for a while. I don't get these calls as well. Obviously, the hero's strong now, and I'm seeing calls for it to be nerfed, to be, give it the Lena treatment, get it removed. But it's like, it's just spent 7 years. I'm going to say 7 years. I'm being maybe a little bit hyperbolous there, but it's spent a long time out of the meta. So I want to see how, a lot of the heroes can evolve into it. Seeing carries going for that. I mean, I'm looking at the Storm lineup here anyway. You've got a Batrider, Timbersaw, Keeper of the Light, Enchantress. That's a lot of magic damage to come through that you're picking a Wind Ranger into. And then Storm, they've got the opening for the carry here as well. They could go for a Nullifier hero, because you only get that Wind Run can't be purged off at level 25 here for the Wind Ranger. So there is optimal, there's still a decent amount of time for Storm to pick up a carry that goes for that Nullifier. And all of a sudden, Wind Ranger, not only is he picking up a lot of magic damage, but the carry's going to be able to right-click him down as well. So, yeah, I mean, as a final pick, maybe, if it fits the lineup here, they could have maybe, dodged off a couple of... But I'm looking at Storm's lineup anyway. I'm not comfortable with this Wind Ranger pick.
I mean, the Enchantress already purges it off.
Yeah, true.
The Wind Run. The other guys don't really care about your Wind Run. If they can lock it down, they will be able to kill you. so it doesn't really matter all that much. In my mind, this is not the greatest of Wind Ranger picks, but again, it is a strong hero currently in the meta that can carry almost any game, so I'm still okay with it. We're seeing that moneymakers are banning out illusion-based heroes, and I think that could be something that you go for, but they go for the Alchemist. And this could backfire, because whenever you're playing the Alchemist, you're putting a lot of emphasis on his farm to end the game. If the Wind Ranger gets ultra farmed, that is why people are calling for her nerfs, is that she just annihilates a hero, right? If you're super farmed, you burn somebody down so fast with a focus fire that it's insane. It's really not something that people are used to. Alchemist, that could happen to him. The thing is that the other 4 on the side of StoRm can create so much space that this Alchemist could reach critical mass. So all in all, it's a good pick. Slightly risky, but still amazing.
Okay, and on the side of moneymakers now, looking to... How are you liking the Spirit Breaker? Offlane or as a position 4 more?
I have been liking it as a core more so than... as a support, sorry, more so than a core. So I would play an offlane techie, position 4 techies and the 5 Spirit Breaker with the Wind Ranger or the Queen of Pain lane, depending on where you want to put one or the other. The standard way nowadays is for the Wind Ranger to be in the safe lane, and just get an offlaner who's going to be able to pressure the Alchemist a little bit more.
Who do you think fits that lineup here for moneymakers to actually put the pressure onto the Alch?
That's a tough one. That really is a tough one. Beastmaster banned, Doom banned. Okay, so those are the main 2. They also banned out the Darkseer, which would have been great. But they go for the Veno, and I'm now not sure where the Veno will be going. Okay, so it is going to be an offlane Spirit Breaker with a position for Veno, and they will put Slayer on the techies. Okay, so they are focusing on dealing with the Alchemist, just in a little bit of a different way. Spirit Breaker is tanky, so you need somebody who's going to be hella annoying, and I guess Veno does fit that narrative.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Venomancers come out, especially when there's an Ursa in the draft. Just being able to put it up against any melee hero, though, in that offlane, it seems like the Venomancer is like you say, just a massive pain in the arse to the melee heroes. So, coming into this one, how much is that lane going to be put... I mean, because you're going to have Seneko here with the Enchantress to offer some support, but how much of a pain is this going to be for the Alchemist coming into a Spirit Breaker Venomancer lane?
Oh, it's gonna be very annoying. Like, there's no doubt about it that you're gonna be super annoyed, and your laning phase is pretty important. The thing is that nowadays having a good lane versus somebody doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna crush them just because of the twin gates. So the Batrider could come through. You know, there could be some rotations. The Keeper Light as well, because they're gonna be on the side lanes, and they could change the pace of the lane. So with that being said, I do think that there might be some emphasis on the Alchemist pre-minute 5 to use the twin gates and assist him.
Okay, well, we're going to find out how it's going to go, but first we're going to take a quick word from our sponsors over at EGB and jump into game number 1. We'll see you after this.
Bets on esports, bets on streamers, impressive bonus system. Welcome bonus up to $600, cashback, artifacts, regular promotions, daily giveaways. Try yourself as a bookmaker. Great lines. EGB.com, more than just a bookmaker.
So welcome back in, as we are going to get started here for game number 1. And Harry, another question is, on these other regions that you've been seeing, have you been seeing a lot of aggressive smokes coming out? Because I'm seeing pretty much every single series here, a 5-mana wrap on a smoke like this coming out for moneymakers. Just looking to put, not even going to go for the runes, just looking to try and take the pressure and go for first blood.
Oh, I have seen smokes, but not super aggressive ones like you just described, so I would assume that this is just going to be a wash that everybody runs away.
Yeah, and wards traded out there for both sides. There's still that Sentry Ward down for the Dire, but it's it's going to be the complete reset coming out. I'm seeing a lot of rotations coming through. Either the Dire wrapping around the off lane into the to the jungle of the Radiant. That's the first one that I've seen coming up to the triangle from the Dire, but it does seem to be a lot of the off lane wraparounds from both sides, looking to either steal that rune or wrap into the mid lane and take the first blood. So surprised that StoRm actually went that way, but maybe that's the way you deal with it. You sit where you think they're going to go and just hold that high ground.
I have seen a lot of teams that do believe that they cannot go for an aggressive play, stay as 5, no 1, and I think that's the right approach, because there's so many angles at which you can be attacked, and if you're holding the high ground, you should be fine if they start running into you, because you're gonna see them first.
Yeah, and forgot to mention, this is going to be the mid Timbersaw with Nicky Cool and the off-lane Batrider with Emptiness. So playing into that one, it will be... I mean, how do you play that into the Wind Ranger, though, really? Because the Wind Ranger going to have some protection coming out from the Wind Ranger. You've got a lot of damage coming out from the Techies. So if you're the Batrider, the Keeper Light in the off-lane, how do you play this into the double range? I mean, it's quad range lane here coming out. 2 on both sides.
It's not going to be easy, but mostly it's the supports that are going to be changing how this lane goes. Though I do believe that the Techies comes out ahead, because what the Keeper Light wants is to not be seen and just spam the Illuminates from the trees, and the Techies will definitely prevent you from doing that. So what you want to do is try to get the Techies off the Batrider as much as possible, and if it's a 1 versus 1, then the Bat versus the Wind Ranger will go even. They have pretty similar damage, a little bit of a better animation on the Wind Ranger, but that's about it. So if 1J can somewhat annoy Slayer or make Slayer annoy him, then the Bat should farm relatively well.
Okay, I'm just looking because the Techies, this is the job that I'm seeing all the Techies do at the minute, where, you know, you sticky bomb heroes down low, you just keep them like, you don't, I mean, you can go for the kill if you find the range, but just keeping the sticky bombs between the 2 heroes in the lane, keeping them low, as Nicky Cool's going to get pretty low in the mid lane here. Igor out of mana though, so Nicky Cool moved himself back in. The Whirling Death does come through onto Igor, and Nicky Cool has to be careful. Got himself a tango, got himself 2 points of the reactive armor, as well as the a ring of health, so he's going to be okay here in the mid lane. As Krillia, he's going to be the one to get the first blood onto Bignum. I really thought of Venoman to be able to harass back onto this Alk, but forgetting that the Alk gets the Grieval's Greed at level 1 now, so can go early into these team fight spells with the Acid Spray, with the Unstable Concoction. Level 2, the Alchemist looks really darn scary now with the new change to the hero.
The way that you deal with the Veno is that you run at him. He's slow, he is weak, you can kill him. So that is what you want to do. It's very easy to run that hero down. So I'm liking that StoRm are recognizing it, and even if it costs the Alchemist a couple of CS, you're still gonna go for it.
Yeah, and how are you liking it? I mean, I'm seeing all supports, pretty much everybody pick up blood grenades here as well for the extra slows, the extra damage over time. Nice addition to the game, especially with them doing health, or do you think they need to be reworked a little bit here? As it looks like top lane, 1J, the power shot's going to be off the mark now as well. Slayer, does he get himself away from this one? One more right click, and it is going to be Emptiness picking up the kill, but Lucas coming in with a win run will be able to get that revenge kill right off the bat here. So support for support, and Lucas going to be able to get a little bit more gold just off the kill, because 1J being involved with the Techie's demise.
Pretty solid there for both teams. Both of these heroes do want to get some early experience. I'm guessing it's gonna be favoring the Batrider just slightly, just because if this hero gets off to a good start, it is a big problem for the opposing team. That being said, Grillat is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he's going to get low here. BB, does he have that charge veil? He doesn't actually have the mana for it, and Seneco's going to be able to get the deny. So, good timing there from Seneco. I was actually watching Seneco as well. He's picking up the hill trolls, but he's not picking up the main hill troll. He's picking up the little one that's got the ensnare. And a couple of times now, BB, in fact, BB could go down here as well in the bottom lane. One more impetus. Can he get in range here? Seneco trying to chase down, changes targets over, and it looks like BB going to be able to get the TP away. But yeah, Seneco picking up the little hill trolls with the ensnare. And then twice now, BB's gone for the charge, and then Enchantress just throws that net out and catches the Spirit Cow in mid-charge.
I mean, it's beautiful that Seneco finds a way to deal with him, but of course he's not going to have any more trolls to use, because the second one is going to be murdered as we speak, so you're going to have to go deeper into the jungle to find him, and that's just not going to be too easy, or you don't really want to leave your Alchemist on the lane, because he will suffer.
Yeah, and the Alchemist build-up, are we just going to see, has it changed at all? Because when the change first came out, everybody ignored Corrosive Weaponry and just maxes out Acid Spray and Unstable Concoction.
It's the same. It's the same.
Yeah, okay.
I don't see people going for Corrosive Weaponry because you're not really attacking. Look at how strong this is.
Yeah, with the really nice Unstable Concoction, or the Venomancer being caught out in the Acid Spray, and just a lot of damage coming through here. Seneco, again, no points to the Nature's Attendant, so just has to move himself away, heal up with the salve. Back in the mid lane here, how is this going for Nikki Cool. Let's say, in fact, we'll come back to this because Emptiness is going to be taking a little bit of damage coming through. Firefly will be going, trying to get some farm onto the neutrals as well. Does he pull any in? He does. But rotation, Bignum's going to be here in the mid lane. Wards do go down on the sentries. And yeah, Nikki Cool. So Igor's going to go max Scream out to try and get the burst damage onto Nikki Cool. But with the Ring of Health into the Vanguard, you know, with the 2 points of the reactive armor here, Nikki Cool, does he really care about the damage coming out from the co-op now?
No, it is literally a farming build. That's why he didn't go for the Shadow Strike, because he understands that he's not going to be doing that much. Meanwhile, the top lane Batrider, he just dies to Slayer.
Yeah, and now they might be able to turn this around. 1J, there's going to be the rotation coming in from Igor. They do get another kill. Good couple of kills. Lucas loses his courier. But Moneymakers making moves here. Krilliat's going to get really down low. Bingham, they have the damage. Do they have enough to get the kill? Krilliat, yippers, they do. In the trees, they pick up, what was that, 3 in about 30 seconds there. Really good rotation for the Queen of Pain, just to make sure they do. But in the mid lane now, Sneko does rotate in, forces the blink out of Igor, even forcing out a couple of bottle charges. Level 6 on Nikki Cool. No Sonic Wave on Igor, so Nikki coming out with a little bit of an advantage here in this lane, and it looks like the slow comes down. He doesn't have that blink anymore. Ooh, it just came off. Just enough to get himself back underneath his tier 2 tower here, the Queen of Pain.
No, they're still applying pressure sheet. They want to play around the Timber Saw, and I think that's going to be the name of the game for StoRm. For, like, until the Alchemist says, follow me into battle. So it's just going to be rallying around the Timber Saw as the other two farm, and then the Batrider will join, and ultimately the Alchemist as well. So this is no surprise. This is how it's going.
Yeah. And TP back into the mid lane here. Igor again looking for the full health, full mana with the bottle. Just using the last of the charge from the fountain to secure that. But look at the damage coming out. Igor, he'd only just come back to the fountain, lower than half health, having to use these bottle charges now. Going towards the power treads on the Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, I like this for Krilliat, that it just means that because of the two supports moving into the mid lane, that you see in this a lot, it just relieves the pressure and just relieves the threat of the Twin Gates. And both carries just being able to find some farm potential here in their safe lanes.
Yeah, that's the idea. Like, we have a stronger mid laner, and our enemies would like to murder in the side lanes. No problem. Yeah. Our carry and off lane are gonna be playing slightly more defensive until we put the pressure on the mid lane, where the enemy wouldn't really want to be. So I think that StoRm are very happy that they have been able to pull some of the attention to the mid lane.
Well, Slayer's going to try and get himself away. Leaps onto the high ground here as well. Had that taser for the disarm, so Slayer will be able to get himself out. Net worth-wise, the Alk, as expected, is only about 300 gold ahead, though, of the Wind Ranger. So even with the Grievel's Greed from level 1, it's still not ramping up just yet. Speaking about ramping up, though, they might be able to ramp up the damage onto BB. BB trying to get himself away. The clap comes out from the tomato. BB slowly trying to go for that charge away, and it looks like the damage, it won't be there. BB will be able to get himself out of harm's way.
Oh, the difference between moo and moo is like a movement speed. Yeah, that came out there. It's very funny when you see the Spirit Breaker charging through everything. He's literally not moving.
Yeah, it looks like he's running through Custard here, and now, well, he's going to be able to get a full speed charge out onto Nikki Cool, but Nikki Cool is already away. And once again, the tomato onto BB, the clap comes out, and BB, he might be able to get a couple of kills here now as well with the Will and Death Chakram. Techies rotates in, Bigman's going to be the target, but the push away with the Sonic Wave here. Nikki Cool, does he want to carry on going? Where's that Chakram? Off the mark here, Bignum, the chase is on. Timber Chain comes in, Will in Death, claims the kill, rotation in from the Wind Ranger now as well. Nikki Cool, there's going to be no latch here from the Shackle Shot, but Lucas with the damage. Now Nikki Cool down to the low ground, Power Shot comes out, and Lucas finishes off the kill.
But still, we see the power of the Timber Saw versus 3 Universal and the 1 Strength Hero, and that's going to be hurting Moneymakers for the entirety of this game, which is why StoRm's lineup. You remember StoRm. Anyways, the StoRm's lineup is really scary to play into by Moneymakers, because how are you gonna be focusing on the Alchemist when there's a hero on the other side that uses one spell that can literally take away half of an HP of any of your heroes?
Yeah, and do you expect the Timber Saw? I mean, I assume it's going to be the Octarine Core. It's already got the Vanguard as well as the Mana Boots that you can split up into the Octarine Core. So I expect that to be the build for both him and the Batrider. But after that, does he just go back into this Ags? Because the Timber Saw Ags feels so good on the hero now with the changes to reactive armor.
It does, but I feel like Sanjan Kaya Blink Hex is something that I've mostly seen. I could be seeing, though, on mid lane Timber Saws, I have seen some Aghanim Scepters, and considering that moneymakers, they like to get close and personal with their heroes. You know, Techies, Wind Ranger, Queen of Pain, Spirit Breaker, all of them want to be quite close to you. The Aghanim Scepter would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I just feel it's a really nice item here. His ego's going to be chased down. Nicky Cool, though, what's he going to look to? Does he want to try and change targets? And again, Timbersaw, the big man, being pressured by 2 heroes, and they're the ones that have to run away. I say pressured, he's being surrounded by 2 heroes, but he's the one putting out the pressure here. Krillia on the bottom lane. We'll see if he wants to trade off with the Spirit Breaker as the top lane now. 3 heroes stacking up, and how are the Moneymakers trying to deal with this one? Did he just let the tier 1 go, or is this big rotation from the Queen and the Techies, is it going to be enough to scare StoRm away?
Maybe they can kill Nicky Cool, but this is... at this point of the game, I'd rather they be chasing the Alchemist. Force Nicky Cool to be TPing to the side lanes. I think that's the right play and not allow him to do this. And the Queen of Pain did TP to the bottom lane. This is a good move.
Yeah, really nice one. 4 heroes down here. They're going to be able to take the Shackle latching onto the Enchantress now as well. And just trying to run himself away. Suneko, Power Shot comes out though. And he will be taking a lot of damage. Ego with the kill. While this is going on, Nicky Cool going to be stealing these Ancient stacks. He is going to be unapologetic with the amount of aggression, the amount of space he's trying to take away from this map. He might lose his courier to the Techies. He will, but... I mean, he's close to the secret shop anyway if he wants to go for this one. Just going to steal out the Watcher as well. And this is 4 heroes grouping up from the side of Moneymakers. The Bite Rider's finding the farm, putting pressure onto the tier 1. Firefly in the jungle. You've got the Alk that's going to be rotating into the triangle. And Nicky Cool, he's going wherever he wants on this map so far.
Yeah, and that's why the death from Krilliat was really bad, because you have to understand, if your Timbersaw is deep in the enemy jungle, he's pushing in the wave very deep, you don't see anybody for, I think it was a good 20-25 seconds, and then you die. It's 100% your fault. So Krilliat, he's gonna have to be slightly more careful about how he reads the map, because that was pretty obvious, and he was given all the info from his team.
Yeah, and it was, like you say, Krilliat was the one that was looking to engage there as well onto the Spirit Breaker. So he's just going to go for the self-stun to try and get the AoE off onto the Ancients, and max charge there as well for the damage. This is going to be his Radiance coming out to him, and it's... You know, once he gets this Talisman of Evasion off, the farm speed should pick up a little bit more. He's starting to pull himself ahead a little bit more and a little bit more. That death obviously slows him down a little bit, but if you're StoRm, are you still comfortable with Nicky Cool leading the line on the Timbersaw and looking for the rotation and looking for the ganks, even though the Alchemist won't be joining in for maybe the next 5 or 10 minutes?
Yeah, you are comfortable, but the big problem is that the Alchemist die. Every single time that the Alchemist dies is a problem, because this is a timing-based hero. He's not an ultra late game hero. You need to be getting that farm ahead earlier.
And yeah, no, like you said, I mean, they're going to be able to get themselves onto Bignum. There's going to be the Solar Bind now as well, and the ultimate from Bignum. Timmy Chain comes through. Nicky Cool has that chakram to come out in a couple of seconds now. Again, Bignum not going to be able to get himself away. Clean up for Nicky Cool. And now BB. I mean, BB's got the charge if he really desperately needs it to get away. Can give it the leaf here. And looking at the Wind Ranger now. So Wendy is going to go straight in for the BKB being forced out here, because usually you see the Rod of Atos for a position 1 Wind Ranger. But how much do you like this just going straight in as 1J being punished? But yeah, the Wind Ranger straight in for the BKB.
It looks like a necessity. Yeah, Keeper Light really did his best there to try to survive. And Suneko, he wants some blood for his fallen comrade.
Needs to be careful though, because the Space Cow is on the hunt. Yeah, Nicky Cool though, is this a great bait mate here, as the Timbersaw is going to be close. No, Suneko actually going to move himself back, and a little Centaur Stomp, the back line. Lasso comes through, they get the kill into the Techies, but the Bat Rider caught out by 3 heroes. Lucas not shy about coming through this twin gate and grouping up, and it looks like Moneymakers, they might just want to play as 4-5 heroes, put this pressure on while the Alchemist is in the trees, try and take what map control they can.
You know that the Alchemist won't be coming in, because him coming into the fight and dying would be a catastrophe for StoRm. So it's a risk you're usually not willing to take. So if you overwhelm them with numbers, StoRm are going to be losing heroes. And then if you're just fighting the Alchemist in the later portions of the game, you have this BKB Wind Ranger that will be able to put him down. So I really like how Moneymakers are approaching the game. I think this is the right choice in terms of movements, in terms of items. Everything is looking pretty crisp.
And how then do StoRm need to move around with this gank coming? Well, they're going to be able to move around one way. Lucas is going to be slowed down here, but the Soulbind Chakram comes through. Lucas taking a lot of damage charge. Will be here, but is it going to be time? No, Lucas will go down. Spirit Breaker, though, it looks like he might want to complete onto the charge. He is still on his way up onto this map. There's 3-4 heroes grouping up on the side of Moneymakers, and again, Charge Date's going to be cancelled now. But yeah, so if you're Storm, is this the idea? You get in, you get a pick off, and you just get the hell out?
Yep, you have to do it, right? Unless you feel like your Timber Saw is just unkillable at that moment, you will run yourself out. And until you have the Octarine Plus, you talked about the Aghanim plus one more item, you're not going to be that safe.
No, and 1J, he gets caught out himself. The Alchemist is actually rotating into this one now as well, so they get the kill onto Igor. Krilliat, can they go for any more out of this one as well? Slayer as well as BB running themselves away. Krilliat, good join in. I suppose it's near to camp, so as well as lane creep. So he's like, yeah, I can come across, I guess, here, and starting to get himself towards that BKB now after the Radiance. So when is it that the Alchemist actually wants to look to fight? Is it the BKB, or is it something like the Bash to come up? Does he go straight into a Nullifier here on the Alch?
Once you get the BKB, you can fight. But the idea was buy a Blink. The Blink is something that you can surprise your opponents with, and where you can join the fight on your terms, which gives you a lot less chances of dying. So I really like that he went for the Blink Dagger. Some Alchemists go for the BKB first, which can be justified in some games. But usually it's like, I'm then going to be out on the map. Everybody's going to see me. I won't be able to surprise anybody. And then once I have the BKB, I'm just going to be ignored. Whilst when you get the Blink Dagger first, you do farm pretty fast because you maneuver around the map faster, but also if the enemies are overextending or coming in for a kill, you can turn it around with a nicely placed unstable concoction.
Okay, and does this draft here from Storm, with the, obviously because you've got the Alchemist that's going to hit a high fairly early on, does it put moneymakers on, I want to call it a reverse clock, or just, you know, backwards, going counterclockwise here, where they just need to wait this Alchemist out until he hits his peak, and then
Curious
they
case
start
of
to hit their
Benjamin
timings.
Button?
Go on. Yeah.
That type. Okay, I think that for moneymakers, I mean, it's a classic Alchemist game, right? You are on a clock in a sense that you need to slow down his timing. But considering that you're versus a Timber Saw with 3 Universal Heroes and 1 Strength Hero, it's not even a given that you're going to be winning the late game. So you're going to have the small window, like late game, 35-40 minutes, where you should be stronger and winning the game. And I think that's the timing that they have to hit, if that makes sense.
Well, they're going to get the reveal onto BB now as well. Chase down, Nicky Cool coming in. He's got himself a fresh Yule Scepter now as well. Chakram comes out, the Blaster Flow. It's going to be the was this a bait? They're going to be able to get the kill onto BB, and now Sonic Wave with the Yule Scepter. It comes out here for Timber. He dodges off the Sticky Bomb. Timber chains himself away from this one. Slayer slowed down. It looks like Seneko, he might be the furthest one forward here. Lucas trying to get himself in. Even the Alchemist going to join in on this fight now as well, because it's going to be a good reset from the side of Storm if they want to carry on getting engaging and aggressive here. But the remnants from this fight, looks like moneymakers, they do not want to be coming back into this one. You've got a couple of the Plague Wards going down from Bignum, and yeah, it just seems from that Storm happy to back themselves away as the angles are starting to be covered now from Bignum for the flanks.
Well, it's becoming dangerous here for moneymakers. They're gonna get into a position where they can't really start the fight properly. They do have the Shadow Blade on the Spirit Breaker, but he does not have a BKB to stay in the fight long. So he goes in and he probably won't be coming out, and that puts you in a pretty bad situation in my opinion. And VR, he wants to go for the Octarine Core on the Spirit Breaker, whilst I mean, that Yule Scepter on the Timber Saw, that's a direct counter to the Spirit Breaker, just to make sure that he doesn't come out. And if you do not have this fat frontliner, it's gonna be a big issue because you won't be able to hold out in fights for a really long time. There's a couple of ways that you deal with this problem. Either you BKB on the Spirit Breaker, or you get a Blink Dagger on the Wind Ranger so that she can start the fight. But considering that they're going for neither, that's gonna be an issue.
Yeah, they're also going to be able to pick up the kill onto Slayer, so the Slayer becomes the Slain. And if you're, I mean, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I didn't even think about this one. You only really have that big frontliner in the Spirit Breaker. And I'm looking at Storm. They've got the Timber Saw. They've got the Alchemist to a point. They've got the Ench as well that can tank a load of right clicks. So I'm looking through at this one. I'm thinking just how well can moneymakers do, because they want to be moving around these fights. They've got some kite ability coming out with the Blink, the Shackle, the pretty much everything in the Venomancer's kit. But if Storm are adamant at running you down and you don't have the Spirit Breaker that can disrupt this, how do you really stand up against the Storm lineup?
Yeah, well, almost impossible to do so, and that is why StoRm can now do whatever they want. They even got the Aegis, and they're just gonna be running in like madmen. There's no reason for these guys not to just go in, and Krilliat, he's leading the charge.
Yeah, and did you want to go for the blink in now as well? The smoke comes out. I like the utility on the Twin Gate. You get the Timbersaw TP in that kind of corrals the side of Moneymaker's back, and then from behind, it was just a little bit too slow from the side of StoRm to be able to like kind of like get them and, you know, trap them into it, pincer maneuver them in. But looks like he might still be able to get the kill onto the Venno. The Venno is going to be taking a lot of punishment from Krilliat, and Krilliat now as well. The blast, is it going to be enough? It was just short, just by about 20 damage. One more slap from the Alchemist, and that would have been a dead Venomancer there. But it does mean that they will be able to move themselves back towards this tier 1 tower, and not a whole lot Moneymakers can do to try and stop this push in.
One more second of the Radiance and they would have been able to get the kill. But the thing is that Krilliat wasn't the one with the Aegis, and your 9-second BKB isn't something really worth a Venom kill. So at that point, you just let it go. You get out. You tried your best not to use any resources and still get the kill. And you forced them back. You got a tower, and you're still in a good position to fight. So I don't think that StoRm are going to be too mad about this. They're trying to take the Wisdom Rune. The thing is that look at the techies. He's already prepared for the other one.
Well, is he? Because well, there might be a blast up, but the Unstable Concoction is going to be here now. The damage coming through. They have that Flame Break pushback, and they are going to be able to pick up both Wisdom Runes here. Krilliat gets one of them. They're even going to get a Tormentor from this. And, well, that was just a good move. They lose Seneko, but a trade for that and Wisdom Runes, that's worth, right?
Yep, it's definitely worth it. Still, if the techies was not there, you lose a Wisdom Rune. You probably lose a tower. You lose map control. So that was a good move coming out from the techies. I mean, they didn't really have many good moves there on the map from Moneymakers, and that one is definitely okay for them.
And so how do Moneymakers... we've talked about waiting out the Alchemist, but how really, when StoRm are getting aggressive like this, you know, what are their options?
You have a really good amount of damage on the side of Moneymakers, but it's not overwhelming at the moment. Considering what they're building, their best bet is the Aghanim Scepter of the Queen of Pain. That is something that I've seen change games quite a lot.
Okay, and the smoke coming through here, they might be able to get the jump onto Lucas now as well. Wind Range is going to be the closest one. Already used the Wind Run. It's going to be off cooldown in 1 second, and they go a little bit further here, so Lucas... Does he step onto the lane? Does he step onto the creeps? That would be a death sentence if he did, as the Timbersaw just continues to push out and put pressure on the mid lane here. And he sees that nobody's coming back to defend this, so he takes a tier 2, and he knows they must be somewhere else here. Nicky Cool just getting free reign of this game with his Aegis. His Octarine even got a Halberd out now as well. So direct counter to the Wind Ranger, because after that one, what you got left in a kit, just Power Shot and Slayer. He might go down, going to try and go for the TP. Do they have it? They're just going to lasso him up. And yeah, 100% worth to get this kill onto the techies now. Techies trying to keep himself alive for as long as possible with the mechanism, but he's just wasting a bit of StoRm's time.
Yeah, Slayer, he wanted to kill himself there. I have no other explanation, because he was hiding in the trees. I think he could have just TP'd out, but when he saw some of his mines exploding, he's like, oh, they are here, rah, let's go, kamikaze. And you know, that's not really something I was expecting from him, to be honest.
Nope. I mean, actually, in this particular game, no, but I'm seeing other games where we're coming into 20 minutes on the techies. They're hitting for like 100, 153 damage, something like that. Ridiculous. You know, they've got all these stat items, and they are able to solo the carries if the carries don't have BKBs already.
Yeah, it can happen, but this is a strength carry, so it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, true, as Lucas comes in with a focus fire now as well. Sonic Wave, they're going to be able to get the kill into Emptiness. And Lucas, he has to pop this BKB on the Wind Ranger, and that is going to be the fresh BKB now as well. The charge comes in from the Spirit Breaker, and the tier 2 tower, it is still low. And Nicky Cool, yeah, he still has this Aegis. He's saying you have to come and stop us, otherwise we're going to be taking these objectives away from you.
The Halberd is ready on Nicky Cool though, so that's going to be a bit of a problem for the Wind Ranger. And I mean, the only reason you got the bad kill there is because he overextended. He didn't really need to do that. Could have waited for the Force Staff and the Boots of Travel to come out, because that's what you want with the Batrider, to enable your team to go high ground, because you want that extra kill just to pull somebody out of the base.
Yeah, and now the charges coming through. It looks like the side of Moneymakers, they're moving themselves down here to the bottom lane, and the pipe coming through, so the techies is going full utility. You know, we're not going to see any braces, no hexes right off the bat, not even a shard to come out, nothing like that. It is just straight up mech into Greaves at some point into your pipe. Lotus is going to be there as well. So this 4 playing kind of like the 3.5, allowing the Spirit Breaker to go in for the Octarine and the Shadowblade. But like you say, without this BKB, even with the Vampire Fangs here for the Spirit Breaker, it just feels like there's too much control for the Spirit Breaker to have an impact.
Depends also on if you are controlling the guy with the Yules, and that's the Timbersaw. If there's no Yules, the Spirit Breaker will be fine, because you won't be able to purge off the Bulldoze, and so he's gonna be okay. Actually, there's an enchant, so it's gonna be tough either way.
And how are they looking? I mean, Wind Ranger, third in net worth. The Queen of Pain as well went in for this, so it does have that axe. And okay, so is it just group up time here for Moneymakers, or is it again just you have to look for Spirit Breaker, initiate, get a pick off, and if you lose the Spirit Breaker but you get a trade, you know, it's worth and just pull yourself back after that?
Radiant are scanning.
It's definitely more of a create chaos type of lineup, so make sure that you are everywhere on the map and you're constantly trying something. Thus, if StoRm do separate each other, you have very good mobility to go for them, but not like this.
Well, yeah, the jump comes out. Queen of Pain gets locked down. Burley gets out with his life, but the Solar Band comes out. So Sonic Wave to get the pushback, and Igor is still going to be slowed down. Has that blink available now as well. Charge comes through, and it looks like it's going to be the self-stun onto the Alchemist as... once again, the jump here from the side of StoRm. They have just got this control. BB trying to move himself away. The lasso was already used on the Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, on the back lines, Bignum, he's going to get low. The acid spray comes out. Krilliak gets the kill. And it looks like here, StoRm, they are in control. Even using through, what was that, 2-3 ults from that. Taking down the Venomizer, it puts the fear in. And all Moneymakers could do, though, was run themselves away, spending ults themselves, just to make sure they got themselves out alive.
Good idea from Moneymakers. The thing is that you were close to the Twin Gates and StoRm were ready. So if you do the exact same thing, but you're a little bit farther from the Twin Gates and you just can't get initiated on from different angles, then you should be fine. This is the right move. You see the Queen of Pain, she has already moved past the bottom Twin Gate, so that's going to be fine. But the Spirit Breaker has been caught.
Yeah, Spirit Breaker's going to go for the TP. They don't have the damage to clean up the kill, and he will be able to get himself away there on the Spirit Breaker. I mean, yeah, with the Octarine, 2.3k health here. He is pretty darn tanky as it looks at the co-op underneath that ward once again. Will be spotted out. There's going to be the jump in, and Stable Concoction comes out now. Again, the lasso this time. Do they have enough lockdown? They do. And they get the kill onto the Queen of Pain. Igor, well, he wasn't ready for that. And again, the TP is to the tier 2s. Great jump in from the Alchemist. They find it thanks to that high ground or the cliff ward coming through in their own safe lane.
There are a couple things that you need, and it's definitely being apparent that it's the net worth issue for your lineup. One of them is a gem, right? So to create chaos, to keep yourself safe in that chaos, you need to not be on the enemy vision. And it has been a problem twice for a Queen of Pain. Top lane, she got initiated on close to the Twin Gates while pushing out the wave. Here, he was right on top of the enemy vision. So you need to prevent both of those. Very tough when you're behind.
Yeah, and okay, they get the Tormentor on, so it's going to be Keeper of the Light, gets himself a shard. Meanwhile, this is going on. Moneymakers, they were a little bit early to the party here. Roshan won't be up for 22 seconds. They are hanging around this one. Techies, you know, trying to fortify that with the mines, get some control around this Roche pit. But while this is going on, I mean, StoRm don't care. They're putting pressure onto your tier 2 here, lads, and they're even going to be able to take it away from you. If they want to, they could potentially look for a smoke Twin Gate over and take a fight against it now as well. So Roshan, 4 seconds away. Is he going to be doing Moneymakers any favors, or is this just going to be a straight up killing box here for the side of StoRm?
I mean, it's on the dire side. It's an early one. This is something that Moneymakers should be happy with, especially because they're set up quite nicely here.
Yeah, the wards are down. They've got the mines going through now as well. They're going to be able to get the kill onto the Batrider. Batrider will fall. Blast off. Connects onto Krilliak. Krilliak pops his BKB. They take down 2. And with the Disarm coming through now as well, they've got the chase down onto the edge. Chaneko trying to get himself away, but the Shackle, it keeps him locked down. And this is going to be a 3. Will it be 4? As 1J and Nicky Cole trying to get themselves away, but the Shadow Strike, the charge in, it connects onto him. And Nicky Cole's just straight up out. He's like, 1J, you are on your own. Good luck. They get 4 out of this one. They might even be able to walk themselves back into the pit if you want to take this Aegis. So really good setup here for the side of Moneymakers around this Twin Gate with the sticky bombs coming through, with the proximity mines, with the wards being down, and it was a killing box all right, but it was on the side of StoRm. You know, it's like walking out of an elevator when the you know, your enemies have machine guns pointed right at it, you're not going to walk yourself out of that.
You haven't watched the Wolverine movie where Deadpool also happens to be in, because he is kind of in an elevator. They have machine guns and he doesn't care. Yeah, but
Well,
they're not Wolverine. They're not Deadpool. Obviously, this was like the craziest move I've ever seen. Usually, people when they smoke, they run towards that side of the map, because especially versus a Techies Venomancer. Like, I couldn't believe that they thought they could be so strong, especially not using the Lotus Orb on them immediately.
Yeah, and now they're going to be able to say, well, Slayer will be locked down, pops that mech, again, wasting a little bit of time here. Taser will come through, but that's just an early scouting system here. If one thing has remained true for all patches, is if you get information, but you trade off your position, well, in this case, what position for, 100% worth, because you get your information, you know where your carries are going to be safe farming, where your cores are going to be safe to go, and the Techies respawn, it's what, like 40 seconds? Yeah, that's no big deal.
Yeah, definitely not a big deal, especially because you were getting your resources refilled after the Roche fight and, you know, the taking of the Roche itself after it. So giving your life away in that kind of scenario, you can't even say that you're wasting some time of the Aegis, because you definitely need your heroes to recuperate, to get everything back up, and then they're going to be ready for battle. So yeah, definitely a nice move coming out from the Techies. Dying in that kind of situation is okay. Sometimes dying like that in that exact point of the map is bad if the Roche is alive. If the Roche is dead, there's really no objective for StoRm to go for.
Yeah, and the win range, you're going to go back towards an MKB here now as well, so the mischance, it's going to be reduced a little bit, and Lucas, I mean, it's a hell of a lot of damage to be putting out when she's already putting out near over 250 damage here before reduction on her right clicks.
That's a lot, and people are just going to be absolutely annihilated by it.
Jump comes in there. They're going to be able to get the stun coming through, and then several concoction. Lotus Orb is up on Lucas, and Lucas trying to do what he can with the focus fire now as well. Do they have the control? The heal comes through. Sonic Wave, Krilliat's going to be getting low through the BKB. They're going to be able to get the lasso lockdown, popping that Aegis. Krilliat, though, can he get himself away from this one? The Bat Rider still coming through. Igor, he's already used his ult as well on the Queen of Pain. Blast off comes through. They've got the control onto Nicky Cool, though. Nicky Cool, he is just tanking it up, coming through. Slayer's going to get pretty low. Chakram damage, it will finish the job. They take down BB now as well, and they don't care about this Aegis. They're going to go for Lucas once again. Flame Break pushes back onto the win range. There's going to be unstable concoction coming out. And the control, Lucas, he does get the shackle shot off, but they still get the kill. And now the Queen of Pain trying to do what he can. It's going to be a 2v4, but the heroes on the side of StoRm getting pretty darn low. So it looks like they're going to play it safe, back themselves away. Snaker might be the sacrificial deer here, as it looks like, no, the Bat Rider will go down, but he's the only one. And you trade that off for what, 3-4 heroes there? Great fight for StoRm.
Especially with the Aegis on top of it, though. That got scary for a second. You could see just how much damage the Queen of Pain Aghanim's was starting to do, ramping up. Also, J at one moment when the Alchemist was TPing out, he was starting to attack him through the Gale. Like, oh, I'm gonna deny you. And I think Krilliat, he was he was screaming, no, don't do it. And he lets him live it in the end. And yeah, the Queen of Pain did 10,500 damage in that fight. And I've already seen the Queen of Pain's overwhelmed. You could see at one point, like, they were full HP, and then scream. Everybody is screaming, and everybody is dying. Luckily for StoRm, they will be able to win that fight, but that was super close.
Yeah, I scream, you scream, everybody screams when the Queen of Pain's screaming, because, well, that's just what she does. And coming through onto this now as well, but it was a good fight for StoRm. But Moneymakers, with a good engage, you think they're going to be able to, speaking about good engage, there's going to be BB being wrapped around them now as well. Do they have the control? He's trying to get himself away from the TP. Can they get him close? He actually cancels off his TP and now goes to the charge Flame Break in the trees. He's going to be grouped up on and killed off. Okay, a hero down. They've got no Spirit Breaker now for the next 60 seconds. What can StoRm do with this here?
It's time to poke. I think you can poke the high ground, at least make sure that everybody on the enemy side is in the base. You can see that Moneymakers are frantically trying to get out of the map with the Wind Ranger illusions to push out the other two waves. It's of the utmost necessity if you want to be able to fight, even when your Spirit Breaker comes back to life.
Yeah, and the Queen has the cheese, but it looks like Nicky Cool, they're not going to get shy about going in here on the Venomancer. The Venomancer uses the Lotus, so Force Staff comes out now as well. They're going to throw the ultimate back onto Krilliat, and Krilliat, well, he is going to be that Plague Spreader. He needs to move himself away from the rest of the team. It will still pop. They've got the lasso. Driveback comes out, though. Ian Disc actually pops here for emptiness, and it looks like Moneymakers 4v5 might have repelled their borders, even while Nicky Cool X comes out, and Ego has to move himself away, though will be able to. He even has himself that Titan Sliver for the extra status resist now as well. So it looks like StoRm, again, 5v4 might be just on the back foot a little bit and move themselves away from the high ground, taking a wee bit too much damage here. And yeah, StoRm, at least you get everybody out alive, and Moneymakers will be able to protect their base, but how much damage did he actually do? They did about a third of the health here of the tier 3, so that's not bad. He got everybody else out alive here. Well, it might actually be 1J going down. He's picked himself up a double damage rune just to make sure nobody else gets it. BB, is this going to be the great bait mate coming through from? No, it's not. Seneko goes down, and yeah, 1J, he was the target, but he just leads to the death of the Enchantress.
The thing is that they used the lasso onto the Lincoln Sphere, so that is why they didn't get the kill there diving the base. That needs to be something that you have to pay attention to if you're the Batrider. Your whole team is reliant on you always getting that one extra kill, or a kill in general. And if you mess up with the lasso, that's just not gonna happen, especially if you're on the aggressive and the enemies are holding the high ground.
Well, he's gonna have the shard now as well, and I don't know if this is the most useful shard in the game, but you're going to be able to get off right clicks while you've got the Flaming Lasso going.
Let's go! Let's
Yeah.
go, yeehaw! He's going to be super happy about those for sure. Yeah, given that his item build, the shard itself didn't really change much.
I mean, I suppose you already have the shard on the Keeper of Light on the Ench as well. Alk would have not been in line for it, and the Timbersaw shard. I mean, the flamethrower was really good. That probably would have been more beneficial to the side of StoRm here.
For sure. Though the Timber Cyber, since he was changed into a Universal Hero, he's actually pretty good at pushing because you have 250 damage.
Yeah, true. And what do... I mean, there's going to be the group up here from StoRm. It's going to be the 4-man
Radiant's
smoke coming out.
bottom tower
Moneymakers
is
playing
under
it close
attack.
as well. So the scribbles on the map, we take those hieroglyphics to say this is where the battle lines are being
Dire
drawn.
are
And,
scanning.
well, the group up comes up from Moneymakers, so they have this
Radiant's
hold on the
bottom
high ground, though. The
tower is
Spirit
under
Breaker
attack.
going to be charging himself away to put pressure onto the bottom lane. And if something kicks off here, it looks like it's not, because StoRm not playing it around this area. So Moneymakers not really going to be able to get the pick off.
Tower has fallen.
Yep. None of the teams are going to be engaging right now. And if you're StoRm, you want to go to this smart. You want to be set up, and then the Batrider goes in and pulls somebody out. That is the idea of how you want fights to start. For Moneymakers, it's more so you need to have vision over your enemies so you can get in with the charge, or you get in with the charge from far away, and then utilize that vision of the charge to engage with the Queen of Pain, the Wind Ranger, and the techies. So it's not easy
Dire's
for
top
either of the
tower
teams
is under
to engage, because you cannot unexpectedly go for a kill. It has to come out from a slight misstep of your opponents, and those are, in these kind of scenarios, very unlikely to happen because there's nothing to fight for at the moment.
So is it just another... I mean, the Roshan's going to be up in at least 3 seconds here. We'll see if it's going to be an instant respawn, nighttime respawn on that. Just under 2 minutes, excuse me. So it looks like it's still going to be the nighttime Roche, just barely. Which
None of the teams can kill him that fast, so he will be traveling for sure.
it's still a refresher shard that comes through, because that doesn't change from day to night, does it? Night to day, it's still the refresher shard on the respawn.
No, it changes the second that daytime comes. Even if he's in the dire side while traveling, if you, let's say, use the kinetic field, he will drop down an Aghanim Scepter.
Does he?
Radiant's bottom tower
Yes.
is under attack.
So, what did I see the other day? Because I saw a refresher shard at daytime. Is it if you've started doing damage to him? Does it not change then?
I think it should change. You've probably seen a bug.
Okay. I mean, Dota 2 and bugs.
Yeah, they don't go together.
Yeah. Well, this time it is going to be the smoke coming through now as well. BB on the back lines. It looks like at the side of StoRm, they were trying to set up Nikki Cool. The focus fire comes out. The lasso will be there now as well.
He has
Getting
the
the drive
cheese.
back onto the Queen of Pain. And yeah, he does have that cheese, so it looks like they're going to be able to back themselves away. On the side of Moneymakers here, look for that reset if they want to. Lincoln Sphere will be broken. And now the Sticky Bombs start to come out. But again, Roshan, the big man's back up in 40 seconds. So what ultimates have they expended? The focus fire as well as the Noxious Plague. Nether Strike is back up now as well, and Sable Concoction actually going to be self-cast onto the Alchemist, and now Alchemist will be running out of the Chemical Rage to get the diving onto Nikki Cool. Nikki Cool with the Shackle Sonic Wave, though. He gets pushed out of it. The Sonic Wave, it won't commit. It's going to be this now. The damage coming through from the Timbersaw. He's still surviving through this one. The Shackles, it latches out to the creep. He's going to be in that acid spread. So it looks like now the Sound of Moneymakers not wanting to chase into this one, but the burst damage coming through. They get the kill onto the bat. They get the kill onto the Alchemist. The Alchemist has buyback, and so does the Enchantress. Enchantress is going to buy back here. StoRm, did he have the kill? StoRm. It's going to be 2 buybacks committed. They don't have a third for the Timbersaw. And all of a sudden, Moneymakers, they get the kill. They might be able to move themselves in. Roche, 7 seconds till he starts to move.
Now. Look at Roche now. He has a refresher. The second that the light hits, Agonist. Yeah.
Huh. I don't know what happened then. I saw a team. It was daytime. They got themselves a refresher shard. I don't know. Okay. Just a bug. Let's just... Oh, my, wild imagination.
One thing we didn't mention is that the Alchemist fed a Axe to a Timbersaw in this game, so that's why they took so long to kill him in that fight. The Force Staff coming in clutch for the Sonic Wave not to connect also was a big deal there on the Alchemist too. But overall, with that kind of an engagement, it's probably I already talked about the Moneymakers. What they need for a successful fight is vision, and you jump in with the Alchemist on yourself for 4 seconds. It's as good as it gets.
Snako, BB just got the double bash off, and Snako's trying to run himself away, but BB's just buying so much time. The Nullifier comes out onto the Spirit Breaker now as well, but the rest of the side of Moneymakers, they're going to be able to start to catch up, and Snako, can he get himself away from this one? Charge comes in, Spirit Breaker gets the lockdown once again onto the edge. There is going to be the Shadow Strike connecting here. Jump in, the last one, they got the control. It's going to be onto a Techies, though, of all heroes. And, I mean, the Timbersaw is still going down, so the Focus Fire comes out. They're going to be able to take down Snako. Can they go for even more now as well? The Nether Strike, they've got to keep a light kill. This is big. Emptiness trying to move himself away from this one. He's got the Invis trying to move himself out. Self-stun onto the Alchemist once again. Timbersaw will be back alive, but they're going to be missing Snako here for the next 76 seconds. The only advantage is this Techies is down. It looks like Moneymakers, they don't want to fight without the full lineup.
Your real carry is now a Timbersaw, not the Alchemist any longer.
Yeah.
He's the one that has to do so much. I think giving him the Aghanim Scepter was a straight-up mistake because it slowed down the timing of Krilliat and really did make him weak. So I'm very surprised that Krilliat did go for that approach, and that is something that I think is gonna cost him in this game because he has lost his timing, and I don't think the Timbersaw is strong enough just yet to be able to deal with everybody on the side of Moneymakers.
And Moneymakers Army, the Techies will be coming back up. They've got themselves a 30-second window. It's just clean up the tier 2s and just pin StoRm back into their base.
Clean up the tier 2s and chaos.
Yeah.
Continue with the chaos. Now, with you getting the tier 2s down, with you pushing in the lanes, you're gonna have that vision that you've been desperately longing for the majority of this game. So your Spirit Breaker will be able to annoy the enemies in such a way that they won't be able to play Dota the way they want.
Okay, and the Timbersaw actually going to go in for the Wind Waker recipe. No, for the recipe, Mystic Staff won't be there though. So Timbersaw, once he gets that one out, it's a little bit of save. But, the control coming out, how much is this Wind Waker going to make as a difference to the Timbersaw, do you think? Or to the side of StoRm?
I'm trying to think. I'm not the biggest fan of it. Not gonna lie there. I'd rather see like a Blink Dagger on him. Just to be able to utilize the Hex in the best way, because now he's level 25. He has the double chakram, so he should be able to jump somebody and do a lot of damage to them. If you have the Blink Dagger, you can do it because they won't be able to respond as fast. So I'm surprised that he's going for a Wind Waker. For me, that's mostly gonna be wasted gold.
Yeah. Okay. And so not looking maybe to save on the teammates. It's you kind of leave them to the wolves. Say you're on your own.
I mean, you can, you're gonna save them, but it just doesn't feel that powerful.
Lasso comes through, Indy's going to pop now as well. They might have enough damage. The Venomancer is going to be bopped down to the low ground now as well. They do get the kill. Sonic Wave comes through though. Do they have enough time to get Krilliat? Krilliat, he pops this BKB. Lucas will be punished a little bit here, but with the BKB and the Windrun coming through, Krilliat trying to run himself away from the Windrunner, and Windrunner is going to be able to come through here with Eagle into the base. The charge comes through from BB. They clean up onto the Alk. The Alk is dead for 119 seconds here. Charge once again. Nicky Cool. I mean, Lucas, he still has that Aegis for the next minute and a half. Does he want to pop it here? Is the fight coming out? BB's going to get low. Does he go down? They get the lockdown. The Lotus will be here. Aegis will be popped. Nicky Cool right back into the base. Eagle wants him coming through with screams with the Shadow Strikes as well. Snako, he's near the tier 3, but is that going to be enough? It's not. not to save his life. Both of these heroes dead on the side of StoRm. Don't have buybacks. Picking them both back to get back into the fight. The charge is going to come through from the Spirit Breaker into the mid lane. This looks like it's going to be the base being broken from the side of Moneymakers.
Remember, it's risky to pick an Alchemist into a Wind Ranger because she might get to a point where she can kill you. Well, she has gotten to that point, and he just focuses down the Alchemist with the help of the Queen of Pain that can bring him down.
Yeah, and now they're going to be able to go into Nikki Cool now as well. The blast off, they get the control. The Nether Strike coming through onto the Batrider. Should be able to get this Batrider kill. He will go down. And BB, looks like they want to carry on going with Nikki Cool. Nikki Cool trying to do his best with the Chakram damage, with that Timber Chain, with the Will and Death. But he is just going to be controlled in the trees. His greatest of fears here as he buys back Nikki Cool. Buybacks are a resource, and StoRm, they're looking to expend them here because the heroes on the side of Moneymakers are low. But you've got that charge. It is what, every 5.5 seconds near up here for BB. Thanks to the level 25 and the damage coming through from that Greater Bash, it will start to stack up. You've got that charged Darkness Bone speed as well. Nikki Cool, they've got the lockdown. Do they get the kill? Do they get the dieback here onto the Timbersaw? The Timbersaw, well, they've got a Gleipnir to control him for a little bit, but Nikki Cool, he still wants to look to the damage onto BB. BB again. With the Octarine, with the reduction coming through, with this Aghanim Scepter now as well. They get the kill onto BB. He's dead for 98. Has a buyback if he wants to use it, though. And, well, 10 seconds on the Alt, 15 seconds on the Batrider. This is still a window here, and Moneymakers, they want to make the best of it.
They will be getting out right now. Though, just a little bit of a correction there. The Timbersaw is not afraid of trees. They disgust him, right? When you're afraid of something, you run away. When it's disgusting, you want to destroy it, right? So imagine a bug, right, Rob? You see a bug, you want to kill it. Or maybe you love bugs. You know, there are people like that in the world. But, anyways, that is Moneymakers being just hitting their timing. That's that 35 to 40 minute timing that we talked about. And StoRm, they didn't manage to destroy the side of StoRm before it, or StoRm didn't manage to destroy Moneymakers before it came to that point. So now you're in this very, very tough situation where you're not certain what to do. Now let's go for a full-on smoke, hoping that you're gonna get the right jump and win a fight. Very hard.
Is this a game ender here either way? Well, there's going to be the jump in Seneko now as well. There's going to be the Will going down. They get the kill onto Seneko, and again, Seneko is going to be dead. 73 seconds here on the death of the Enchantress. The Enchantress with no buyback, and the damage coming through. They might be able to, they will be able to get the kill onto the Alchemist, and again, the Alchemist, no buyback for 43 seconds here. They've got the control onto Nikki Cool. Nikki Cool is gone, done. He is away. The buyback comes out from the techies. The GG is going to be called here. Moneymakers take game number 1 after a really good start from the side of StoRm. They hit that time and they hit the reverse clock, and StoRm, they just could not keep up in these fights. The 23k net worth lead here, 33 to 25 at 47 minutes. Moneymakers, they outlast the Alchemist, and they're able to take game number 1 away from StoRm.
Yep. Though pretty solid performance from both teams. I mean, there's always mistakes, and in Division 2 they're going to be more apparent than in Division 1 because everything is slightly slower. But overall, both of the teams did play to their strengths, and the little things, the little changes there in terms of items, in terms of how you approach the fight, and the small mistakes like stunning yourself as an Alchemist before you engage. Those kind of things did change the game in favor of Moneymakers. StoRm, they were the ones making plays. They were the ones understanding their win condition, and it wasn't hard to execute, but their lineup needed to be executed like without many or without any mistakes, which in the end didn't happen. And Moneymakers at least showing that they can capitalize on those mistakes. But what I would like to see is for Moneymakers to kind of lead the game in the direction that they want, because this is something that they've been lacking for a very long time, and something that is definitely preventing them from getting to their past glory and getting to Division 1 with this lineup.
Yeah, and we are going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the second game here between StoRm and Moneymakers to see if StoRm can get themselves back into it, or Moneymakers, are they going to charge on, take this one 2-0? Hurry, I don't know if you've seen it. We've only had 1-2-1 in the entire division, and it was between NAVI and NAVI Junior. So there's a bit of a pattern going here. Predictions for the next game. Do you think StoRm, do they buck the trend and get our second 2-1? Or Moneymakers, are they just going to be able to pull this one out in 2?
I'm going to say that there's a good chance that this is a 1-1 leading into game 3.
Okay, good stuff. And we are going to take a break. We'll find out if Hurry's going to be right after this. We'll see you after the break.